Beyond.
Beyond all.
Beyond! There you go.
Wow.
There's the deafening.
Wow.
I saw it in your eye that it was coming. I was ready.
Gets that little
coffee.
twitch, just kind of wiggles a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, readers can't see it, so they have no idea it's coming.
They know. I don't think the girl. I did a SingStar video yesterday that should be going live on Friday, hopefully. And I don't think the girl I was singing against was ready for it. Because I screamed like at college level. Like I was in prime Greg Miller screaming yesterday.
Nice.
Like nobody on IGN has ever heard me go off.
Uh-huh.
I was primed. I was in a booth.
But it was on.
It was on.
There you go. So welcome to episode 96 of Podcast
Whoa,
Beyond.
we're old.
I'm Chris Roper.
I'm Greg Miller.
There you go. Ryan.
I'm Ryan Clements.
And
I'm Sam Bishop.
there we go.
There's
There's
your
the
PlayStation team.
there's the cast PlayStation team of IGN.
Woo.
There it be.
So, real quick before we actually get into the show, Jeremy thought of something pretty fun.
What's that?
Because as Sam Bishop, we should have like a team of elite superheroes, and on this team, we all just have chess pieces as last names. So Sam Bishop already works, and that's perfect. And he was like Chris King, which I think sounds awesome. Greg Queen, which is sort of funny.
Yep.
That could be Ryan Rook, which I also thought was equally awesome.
I don't. Okay.
See, that's a dumb idea. Dunham, if you're listening, dumb idea.
You're probably going to be fired.
Hey,
Now that you're all in your managerial position, you let us worry about what we name ourselves on podcast.
I thought it was pretty awesome.
I'm not
Chess
surprised.
piece,
You are an ass.
last names.
You are an
So,
ass
okay,
kisser to the 10th
So by
degree.
this, I can only take one step at a time. Greg can move wherever you want, but only in a straight line.
Sure.
Ryan, you can only go
I can go
up, down,
weird
left,
L
and right.
patterns.
And
No,
Sam can only.
I'm a diagonal.
Yeah. So you can only move
I
up
move
and
in
down.
L patterns.
Oh no.
Rooks are knights, right? No, other name for
rooks
knights.
are- Rooks are the castles.
Oh, the castle.
So
sorry.
so you can only move
I
up
got
and down,
mixed up.
left and right.
Yeah.
And then
This is
Sam
true.
can only travel diagonally.
Yeah.
And you can
Skid
only
around like a crab.
and you can't get on opposite colors. So
Yes,
like if you're
exactly. I am
standing
stuck on-
if you're standing at my desk, you can't actually get to Greg's. You can only be next to it.
Oh.
There,
Greg,
that
it
What you
doesn't make any
sit for a
sense.
desk?
Greg,
What?
Then I can't
would
get
you
to
think
his.
it would be cooler if your name was Greg Knight then?
No. My name's
All right.
Greg Miller. I'm Greg goddamn Miller.
Wow.
Everyone on the internet knows it.
All right, let's get into this. Let's kick this off with the Roper Report.
Time for some news.
So let's see what's happening here. I will start by saying that Final Fantasy VII has done very well as a PSN release, selling over 100,000 copies, or over 100,000 downloads. Same deal. Now, here's the kind of cool thing about this. All right, it did great. Everybody expected it to. Since 7 is doing very well, obviously this is one of the most anticipated games, along with Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that on there. Now Sony has definitive numbers to say, hey, people are buying this content, and you got to figure that the ports are probably pretty simple. How much is 7?
$10, I think?
$10.
$10
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what they all are, aren't
So
they?
that's over $1 million in sales
Yeah, they
right
made
there.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Bam, in a week.
Bam, and it couldn't have cost $1 million to redo it, and there was no marketing. It was all just
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just there.
Hey guys, run this news story for us. You can so bam, $1 million in the pocket. Plus going on up.
Yeah.
Do you think Metal Gear will sell as well?
I would hope so.
Today's a week since it's been released, so hopefully next Monday we'd see a similar announcement of something like that.
I would hope so.
Yeah, me too.
The only difference with Metal Gear is that it came out in the Essentials collection and stuff like that. So
It's
people
been harder to find an original copy of 7 nowadays. So.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
So, but still, and let me continue with some new details for the motion controller, the PlayStation motion controller. Announced at E3 came out. They will have force feedback. You can use up to 4 per system.
Oh, God.
So there you go. Punisher No Mercy's coming to the PlayStation Network on July 2nd.
When you think Punisher, you think first-person shooter multiplayer extravaganza.
Yep.
There you go. And
Marketing.
Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, which came out on the DS a handful of months ago.
Yeah, it was this year, right?
No, last year.
End of last year.
Was it really? I
Yeah.
thought it was beginning of
Sometime
this year.
I think it was big holiday.
sometime around the turn of the year.
We don't,
we'll say
don't
the
care
winter
about
season.
DS games, whatever.
Clearly,
Came out
we
winter
don't really
season.
think
Sometimes
Wow.
I flip them into pools and I say, this is my wish. And then I see some kid in there going, this was my wish, and I'm taking it back.
I'm taking them all back.
You Goonies! Anyway, so Chinatown
Wait,
Wars
wait.
is coming to the PSP. What's up?
I must be overtired because I just heard the PlayStation startup noise in my head.
He went, ba-dink.
Huh.
I heard the bling.
Yeah, it was the same.
Weird.
No. It was not you making a noise though. It came from like inside my mind.
You are broken.
Well, I heard it too. Interesting.
But like I said, Chinatown Wars is coming to the PSP, so that's cool.
I did not like the DS version.
What?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
The fact that when you're driving, you couldn't see anything in front
You
of
should
you.
actually,
old school,
before you
brother.
finish
Yeah.
that sentence, you should hide under the table because there's a Rockstar sniper on the other side of this building aiming at you. Even though we're enclosed in 4 walls, he will hit you.
He's that good.
Yeah. And the last piece of news that I'll mention this week is that
He's got the gun from a
there are a
racer.
couple of mergers that happened recently. Number one being that BioWare merged with Mythic, the guys that made Warhammer 40,000 online or whatever. 40K. And but bigger to the PlayStation side of things is that id Software was purchased by ZeniMax. ZeniMax owns Bethesda Softworks. Obviously, those are the guys that make Fallout. id Software is now basically a sister company to Fallout, to the Fallout guys, Bethesda. And this is kind of interesting news because id was one of the last big independent studios,
Yep.
and obviously their influence is massive over the past decade plus. But according to we have an interview up now with Carmack and Robert Altman from ZeniMax, and according to Carmack, he's like everything's gonna be perfectly normal. They don't have a shooter company or whatever, as
Yeah.
if they were purchased by Activision or EA or whatever. So they apparently are going to go as they would have before, except now they have more backing. So apparently all that sounds good. We'll come back to that in a little bit later in the show.
Maybe.
But maybe we'll see what happens. But let's continue on with this. This weekend I'm not really sure that I have any major plans, so I might want to play a game or two. But I don't know how. Like Sam, do you have any idea how?
No.
Ryan, how would I know what games are new?
I have an idea.
I'm usually confused by this every week. I have no idea how to ever figure out what games are coming out during the week.
These intros are killing me, dude.
Greg, do you have any idea how I would find out what new games have come out this week?
Please, man.
Nope.
No.
No.
Oh wait, no, hold on. I got
That's
the
it.
official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGNers.
Do.
Oh man, it's
Oh
going
man, Ryan's
downhill
having
real
a
fast.
rough one. It's a big week, Roper. A big, huge, fat week. PS3 gets Fight Night Round 4, Transformers, Overlord 2, Dynasty Warriors 6, Empires. PSP gets Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, Pangea, Transformers, and then PS2 gets Transformers. They're robots in disguise.
Of all the weeks to test
Just for an
Ryan's
editorial
patience.
note, it's Pangea.
Okay.
Or Pangea.
Let me see this list again. It looks to me like
Fight
Some
Night
good stuff
with a
on
bullet.
yeah, it looks like Fight Night, pretty
Pop.
hardcore. In
I've
this
actually
one.
played most of these games, surprisingly.
Yeah, no, we actually have
I know.
played these.
I don't
So
think I've ever
What
done that
about
in a big
people who
week.
don't like boxing at all? Like
I
myself?
don't. I enjoy watching boxing maybe a little bit, but I never got on my way to. Usually only when Dunham invites me over, and I love this game. I have a lot of fun with it.
yeah, the
What
Fight
if-
Night games are really fun.
Yeah, I
I
think
still
I-
don't care.
The one caveat.
Here's my thing. Why wouldn't you care? You like fighting games.
Yeah.
This is a fighting game.
Have you ever played Fight Night?
No.
I think
You
you,
should
should
try.
try. I think you'd
That's
enjoy
fine.
it,
You don't have to enjoy
Yeah,
boxing.
I, mean,
to-
I might like it. I don't know.
when you
I'm
see
just-
a
I have
dude's
no interest
red
in it.
eye get all red and puffy and bleedy, then
See,
you're like,
there's
yeah,
not
I
enough
have
of
to
that.
talk about.
Here's the thing: is I really don't have really any interest in boxing.
Well,
But you like fighting games.
Fighting games are different because they are usually
because they have
fantasy
magical powers and they
sci-fi.
fly, and people can do one hit finishers, and you have life gauges.
Don't test Ryan today, Roper.
All right.
He's a-
Going down this list here, let's go over what these are very quick.
right.
Greg, you reviewed Monster Hunter.
I did.
How
Hey,
was that?
Good. Yeah,
there
I
you
mean
go.
it's the last game though. It's all it is. It's the last game, and now you have a cat, and you can stack items. And there's 5 new monsters.
Now you have a cat.
Very good. Ryan, you
A cat that
reviewed.
you can fight with. Sorry.
You reviewed Pangea.
Pangea.
How is that?
when you hit a Pangea shot, which is basically their equivalent of a perfect accurate shot, the announcer says Pangea.
But he says
Does
it
not
faster
say
than that.
Pangea in a Greg Miller
See,
voice.
I think he says it faster than that, so you
have to
can't
unlock that.
definitively say how he's pronouncing it.
the
It's like he's saying.
the pronunciation.
I said beyond,
the
but,
pronunciation is
now,
Pangea.
all right. From now on, we're gonna call it podcast. And then when you say beyond, I'll go. No, it's actually.
And Pangea
It's actually beyond.
is very good.
Here's all I want to
So,
say
there you go.
about Pangea is that in this game you are you're in a mystical land doing golf tournament, right? And what you're trying to do is unite all the continents back together.
That's not
Yes.
weird. That's
yes.
not what you're doing.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Roper. What on Earth when all the continents were together? What was it called?
Pangea.
Pangea.
Yeah. No. I was trying to think of the actual correct name for it. I was just going to say it was just called
Pangea.
Earth,
Yeah,
but that was
It
when
was
the
a
dinosaurs were
supercontinent.
around, or
a lot of
before
water.
that. Let's continue on with
Atlantis.
this list here. Eric has played plenty of Overlord 2. Says it's
Yes,
not as good as the
I
first
have
game.
watched that one.
Yeah.
It is not as
Dynasty
good as the
Warriors
first
6 Empires. Ryan,
I
you just
played
reviewed
that.
that one.
Yeah, that's actually not that bad.
For Dynasty Warriors games, it looks like it's all
Yeah,
right.
I'm not a big Dynasty Warriors fan, but the Empire series, like Sam can tell you, is adds the strategy element, makes it a bit of a better experience there.
Yeah, what'd you give it?
A 6.8, I believe. If
I
I'm
thought about
remembering
playing
correctly.
it after I played it. I played it and I was like, I could maybe play this.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
But
It's
then you
totally
didn't.
fine.
No, I
It
won't.
really,
Yeah.
that
I'm busy.
strategy does really help.
It's like button mashing Risk, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Sort of.
I did bring up Risk in
Yeah.
my review.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
Territorial
for the
control.
last week, I've been doing nothing but playing and writing about Transformers games.
Lower
Good
floor,
God, they
man.
won't end. The PS3 one I gave a 6. It's eh.
Yeah.
I don't know. The online is pretty good. The PS2 one, no. It's
No.
not good at all. So when you play the Wii game, you aim a reticule
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
screen with your Wiimote. But when you play the PS2 one, you still have that reticule and you control it with the right analog stick. It's not.
He's
So
dead
it's
on the
like
screen.
it's like playing a light gun shooter without
Without a
but
light
with an
gun.
analog stick.
Yeah, and your left analog stick moves your character. The right one aims this reticule. It's like having your left and right brain work together at the same time.
It's just like Last Airbender.
Yeah.
The last one they put out on PS2. That was a Wii port. That was the exact same thing.
Yeah. Also, it just sucks
Controller cursor.
beyond that. But
Yep.
and then I haven't played I'm going to play the PSP one today. But
Oh, you're in for a treat.
I would assume that it would also not be good. But we'll find out. There you go. There's all the games that came out this week.
So Fight Night wins.
Fight Night wins.
In a knockout.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the PSP has a very good week this week actually with Pangea
Yeah.
and Monster Hunter. Ryan just shot his brains out over the wall. Pangeo. Ryan,
It's the Naruto guy.
Ryan, did you manage to get some sort of letter or body part sent to you in the mail from Zombie Blognac?
Yep, I did.
Oh.
And here is what I have to say about that. There's a new game, Droplets, is coming out today. A free Little Big Planet costume. The Summer Solstice costume looks like Gandalf. And a sticker pack. Some High Velocity Bowling updates, some Mortar Storm updates, some Cross Edge DLC, a Q-Boy level editor and level pack, the Bigs
Finally.
2 demo, some more Rock Band and Guitar Hero stuff, as well as, get this, 4 games for the PSP, 4 UMD games.
UMD.
UMD ones.
UMD games brought in the digital download form. Brothers in Arms, Chessmaster, Driver 76, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all sound like real winners.
Yeah.
Didn't you do-
Maybe one of
no,
those
I did
are good.
Chessmaster, didn't I?
Yeah, I didn't play. Wait.
Are any of those
Or
good?
did I play that?
I think you were going to originally, and then I ended.
I think that's what happened. I know it went back and forth between you and I. I can't remember if I played it or not.
Yeah.
Because you guys are both so eager to play it.
Does
No,
anyone like any of
actually, I
those
think I
games?
might have reviewed that.
Really? Okay.
I
Because I
can't
remember I didn't know how to play chess, and that was the big thing. It was like, well, I'm
What?
supposed to teach you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Come on, checkers is where it's at.
Checkers.
Anyway,
That's why you don't like the chess idea.
Oh my God.
Now it all comes
Bad
together.
idea. Why are we changing our name?
Oh my God! Well, we're not changing our names. Those are our code names. We still have our real names. I'm not asking you to go to
Why
the
wouldn't we have
government
cool
and be
code
like,
names?
"Hey, I would like to change my name to Greg Knight or Greg Queen, depending on which one sounds cooler to you."
If we're doing code names, I'm Flying Goat.
I like Flying Goat.
Anyway, also, so besides those 4 games, are any of those 4 good? I keep asking. No one's answering me.
I don't think so. No,
I don't.
Not really.
All right, and there's a PS1 classic, Mobile Light Force, which can be the name of our elite chess
Okay.
named group
All right,
is
I
the
like
Mobile
that.
Light
Oh,
Force.
God.
Did Zombie Blognac actually say what the MotorStorm update was?
It's another free livery pack.
Is it-
Livery?
Livery.
Livery? Livery?
I don't know.
Paint job.
Pangea?
Paint job? It's
All right.
probably just
Because they did
paint.
talk about they're doing a big update where they're actually going to do a bunch of new tracks, and they're going to edit the old ones and have nature basically going crazy. So there's going to be an eruption on the island, and it'll completely change the courses. There'll be lava flows. It sounds really cool.
Oh, they're just
Awesome,
trying to
but I
compete
don't
with
think-
Mod Nation.
I don't
can't-
think that's
I
what it
guess.
is.
I don't think so. Well,
Yeah.
I think we probably would have made a bigger deal about it.
Yeah,
But I
I
was
think we would
curious.
have too.
I
There
didn't
you
think
go.
it was hitting this quickly.
I think your face is a pretty big deal.
Does
think
anybody
my
have any
face
trophy
is
tips for the
hitting.
week?
Just the tip.
Everybody remembers if you were an achievement hunter back in the day, you remember that the old Rainbow Six gave you a trophy for just taking a picture of your face. Same things in Fight Night. Take a picture of yourself, try to graph it to a fighter. There's some easy bronzes to pick up there.
There you
I
go.
can't wait to see your face on a fighter and then beat him up.
It didn't look
Whoa.
good. Because it's not like it doesn't take your face photo and then do it. It morphs it and tries to make it look real, but then it looks nothing like you by the end of it. And I was like,
that's too
no,
bad.
thank you.
It's because they're pretty
what was I
high-res
gonna ask?
textures,
Oh.
and you're doing like a
Yeah,
640 by 480.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
There's a new trend, apparently. But I've seen this in Blaze Blue, which I love, and also with Dynasty Warriors Empires. All the trophies are hidden when you start. Now I'm
That
all-
was nuts.
all
Yeah,
of
that
them.
was
now
nuts.
I'm all for a couple hidden trophies to give you something to think about or to look up online. all of them hidden? You have nothing. You have no idea what to work for. No, I don't like that at all.
See, the thing that
doesn't make sense.
The thing that I like about trophies is you look at the list and you're like, I'm going to go out of my way to go ahead and do this thing. But if you don't know what it is, then there's not really.
Then you're just going on your way.
Plus, all those sites that collect trophies for some reason they're somehow able to get all that stuff no matter what.
Yeah.
Like they have a list of them even though they're hidden, and I don't. No, seriously, I don't know.
I mean,
They
always
have a mole on the inside.
Pretty much.
They
They
always
have
leak
some sort
early.
of-
That's the thing, is hiding them is kind of pointless because you can just go online
Exactly,
anyway.
that's what I'm saying.
So, whatever.
Whatever, man.
I understand like hiding it if it's a plot point, because obviously that would spoil it, and that makes sense. But you pull the whole list and it's all just question marks.
That's how they did with Infamous for the one choice.
Indeed.
Where you can decide if you want to be a robot or a ghost.
Wait, there's a secret Robo Ghost option too.
Secret
Yeah, you can be
Robo
both.
Ghost.
You gotta go through it twice.
Yeah, you cut yourself in half and become both and then form together. Oh, pretty good.
How far are you in Infamous right now, Ryan?
I had dinner with a particular character, which is the name of the name of the mission. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that.
And I am a little bit past that. I could have just said that I'm on the second island.
Okay,
that was easier.
That's easier too.
But
dinner.
I thought it was I thought it was cooler
it's
to
just
say
the title of the mission.
I had
Oh,
dinner with.
okay.
I can say her name, right?
Yes, we've talked about it in previews many times.
okay.
And come on, guys, get your. Oh, damn it!
You did it. All right, let's get on with topic of the week.
Talk of the week. Flying go.
So now, unless anybody has any better idea, because we were discussing this before the show started, we're going to talk about acquisitions, like I mentioned, ZeniMax buying id Software, and about, I don't know, what we think if that is going to impact anything on that one particular. Has it changed other relationships between other companies, et cetera, et cetera? So some of the big ones here, to remind Ryan, because he couldn't remember any.
I know the two names coming together. I don't understand or want to understand the internal business workings of what happens when two
It
companies
means they
come
drop
together.
good games, so like, hey, Ghostbusters, Brutal Legend.
Well, I mean, that stuff is easy to understand. I'm talking about like how the companies function on an internal.
Okay, now here, let me start this off, and you guys can kind of take this after I give you some pretty good examples about how things have changed. Yeah,
drop the knowledge.
Okay, here's one big one that doesn't relate to the PS3 on the beginning end, but now it does. So, Bizarre Creations made the Project Gotham Racing series for Microsoft, and the games are all very good. I like them a lot. And then Bizarre was purchased by Activision prior to PGR 4 coming out. I don't remember how far in advance, but it was a good number of months or so.
Yeah.
It was a good 6 months, I'm going to guess. And Microsoft did absolutely nothing whatsoever to promote PGR 4. Basically left the game completely dead in the water. It came out, and it was good. I liked it.
Sent to die.
But there 2 copies of that game showed up at our local GameStop. I bought one. Hillary bought the other. And I don't remember anybody really ever talking about the game. Meanwhile, 3 was like a big launch title for the system.
Yeah,
And all these. The last 2 games were big on the original Xbox. So that's one example of a company gets bought, and then their last work, even they're finishing it, goes to hell. Another good example about something that has kind of changed the industry for the worse, I think. Obviously, this is not too big of a surprise here. Is that Guitar Hero 1 and 2 were created by Harmonix, put out by Red Octane, and then so Red Octane published the game, made the controllers. Harmonix made the game. Red Octane owned the franchise. Activision again bought Red Octane, took the Guitar Hero license. Harmonix was purchased by MTV Games. Now stuff's published through EA. So Harmonix is making Rock Band. And they're doing one game per year. And, they're doing the Beatles game this year. And, so they're on, one new game a year type thing. And their stuff, all their DLC carries over. The Beatles is a little bit different, but that's a kind of different game. But, but on the Activision side, they're releasing no less than 6 hero games this year. And the year's not over yet.
One of them I'm very excited about.
Yeah, so now what we're seeing is with that difference, now the music genre is basically split into 2. Now you've got 2 companies making what are essentially the same games, and Activision going crazy because they spent a bunch of money on them. Actually, it wasn't. I want to say it was like 90-something million.
It was
for Red Octane.
Ridiculous amount of money. Which I'm sure is paid off for them now, but...
No, but like 90-something million at the time, and Guitar Hero 3 alone made over $1 billion. That return on investment is crazy. But now there's 1 trillion of those games, and it's like, had it stayed before...
There's more than the amount of money that they made.
It seems like it, man.
Now, had it stayed before, if we were just seeing one Guitar Hero game a year, and that was the one big... rock-esque music game for the year, I don't think anybody would be complaining like they are now. Now we're in, music game overload.
Yeah, it's World War II syndrome.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to play another World War II game.
Right.
I've just had my
Oh, so you didn't hear that Killzone 3 takes place in World War II?
Seth, we gotta go back.
We gotta back in time and prevent the Hellcast from ever taking over.
So now we come to more recent events where, like, id being purchased by ZeniMax, and they're saying that ZeniMax is going to leave id completely alone. And one thing that apparently these guys started looking at this deal a good bit before Fallout 3 was up, and then so Carmack and company kind of sat back and watched what they did with Fallout, and ZeniMax said, "Here's how we're going to do this. You can watch us do it." They promoted Fallout 3 to all hell.
Yeah.
Let Bethesda do what they wanted to do. The game came out basically perfect on everybody, exactly to plan, like everybody wanted. Everybody was happy about how the promotion, that Bethesda was allowed to do whatever they wanted, all that kind of stuff. And so it said, "Okay, you guys did that right. We're going to jump in there." So it looks like the id deal will be largely unaffected, or if affected at all, for the better, because now they have backing and they can get, maybe more, more support on the, PR side for them, since that's going to be their only shooter. But then on the other hand, you've got, Activision Blizzard merged, and
Yep.
What? I'm sorry. What's the next id project? Did people know yet?
Rage.
Rage. That's it.
yeah,
How do we
And
feel
part
about
of
that
their,
one?
that's going to be awesome, I think.
yeah, that's really good.
I like its work,
Really
though.
good. I think one of the bigger problems with those guys leading up to this whole thing was that they were working so hard on their tech, ID Tech 5, which is sort of the underlying structure for Rage and for whatever else they're working on.
Doom 4,
Doom 4, yeah. They used to be one of the big licensing powerhouses.
Yeah.
Like they made an engine, and that engine was used all over the place.
Yeah, Quake 2 was almost every single game in
Yeah,
existence.
yeah.
You'd get like a match 3 gem game, and it'd be on the Quake 2 engine.
Exactly. And then for the last engine, they really didn't push it all that hard. And Epic sort of snuck in there.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, here's Unreal, and everything uses Unreal now, and
Yeah.
it's pretty freaking obvious. Most games that use Unreal Engine
Looks
very
like Unreal-
obvious.
yeah.
Not always so obvious with with Quake 2 especially, because that got modified like crazy.
Right.
So, but yeah, I hope that with this deal, they will be able to sort of worm their way back into getting people to use that engine, because it is, I think, some of the most flexible tech out there.
Yeah.
Although I have
Well,
to admit, Unreal's pretty decent this time around too.
Well, I mean, the one kind of cool thing that I'm hoping happens here is that, Carmack is saying that, Bethesda's not going to drop whatever they're doing and immediately pick up its stuff, but maybe in the future. And, there is very little question that it is at the top of the technology stuff, right? You can say,
Yep.
Epic does their thing or whatever, but, I mean, go and look at the videos for Rage.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks incredible. And the kind of cool thing about Rage is it has, there are no repeating textures in the entire game. It's
Big
all
textures.
completely unique pixel to pixel. And sprawling environments or whatever. Yeah,
How does that even happen?
Because Carmack's a god,
John
man.
Carmack
He's amazing.
is an alien.
He's a programming alien from the future.
Yeah, so you look at that, and you've got
Seriously, no repetition.
sprawling environments and all that, and then you imagine that being in a Bethesda game,
Yes, exactly.
and then you're just like, oh my god, like Fallout 4 using something like that would be, like. I don't know. Like
That's what got me excited
The
about
Wasteland in Fallout 3 was awesome, right? But you see a lot of the same texture and stuff everywhere.
yeah, there's
using
a
that,
lot of copy and pasting. Of
using that is, looking at a game like that would be crazy.
Yeah.
And before, I don't know how possible it was for them to do that kind of stuff. But now, Carmack's saying they're sending some dudes over to Bethesda on Monday to show them tech and all that kind of stuff. And
I mean, even just the way that Rage kind of looks, it does have a little bit of that post-apocalyptic sort of feel to it. But it just has a lot more personality to me.
yeah.
Than not that I'm knocking Fallout. Fallout was awesome, but it's
there's no
just kind of.
personality.
I'm knocking it.
What's
Sam.
what?
I'm knocking it. Knocking
You're
it up.
knocking it. Whoa.
You
Oh,
crazy,
man.
son.
You just got it, Prager's.
What?
He said he was
That's-
knocking it up.
I see.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to chime in on this thing? Or am I just good?
Greg looks dead.
I'm good.
No, you're
He's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
About
Square Enix. Ryan, you say something about Square Enix.
There you go.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say about Square Enix?
All right, this is done. Let's
This
move on to
is-
reader
All
mail.
right. That's my fault.
I will say that if they're allowed to keep,
Mail.
We're moving on to mail. You say you don't have anything to say.
fine,
Go ahead. Add it on.
done.
Add it on.
Come on,
Go
let's
ahead.
hear it.
Encore.
Mail feedback?
It was a simple thing. I was just gonna say I'm of the mindset that if the merger happens, I'm totally fine with it if it does not mess with currently existing projects or they have some sort of dabbling hand in future projects, because that really bugs me when like a bigger company comes in, buys a smaller company,
But that's
or
what
merges.
happens almost all the time.
Right, exactly.
The problem.
But the problem is sometimes it's minor, like minor adjustments, but sometimes it'll just completely, or like the case with PGR4, which you mentioned
Well,
earlier.
wait, let me throw this out there then, because you are definitely a fan of the Japanese games.
Yeah.
What do you think Square buying IDOS is going to do? I mean, do you think that Tomb Raider is going to change at all? If they did change it, if Tomb Raider,
Lara Croft's going to get spiky hair.
Exactly.
And giant eyes.
Yep.
The more Japanese
She's got huge
games,
moves, and she just starts doing backflips up the side of the wall or
How
something.
is that different than any of the other Tomb Raider games?
She doesn't do backflips. She has big moves, but she doesn't do backflips up the side of the wall. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
That's where.
There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. All right, now.
Jeff Haynes is relieved from having to review Tomb Raider. Now it's on Ryan. There you go.
I wouldn't want Square to come in and change things either. I mean, would I like the final product? I don't know. But I mean, would it sort of sit unwell with me because I knew that they came in like vultures and changed something?
Oh my God, vultures.
Then again, I mean, some would say the Tomb Raider is in need of.
Yeah, they need it. And also,
I like the later ones.
I hope it's not actually called Square Enix Eidos.
I don't know what they're going to call it.
Squidos.
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 Squidosnix.
Squidosnix.
Squidosnix. Published by Squidosnix.
Right.
It's in the game, I guess.
All right, let's get on to the reader mail.
Maybe. All right, yeah. Anyway.
Our first piece of mail comes from Alex the Great. He says, do you guys use remote play to play PSN games like Pixel Junk, for example, on the PSP?
Nope.
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 It's a cool feature, but I do not do it.
No,
I've tried it out.
There's too much lag.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we tried it.
Yeah, and the problem too is you have to have your PS3 on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, even just doing it wirelessly. Straight to the PS3, it's like right there.
No, I mean, so the idea is awesome, and
I heard the startup noise again.
Did you? You're going crazy.
I think it's because when I yawn, it's like stretching my jaw, and like it creates some sort of thing.
I see. My problem is, and I imagine this is kind of the same for a lot of people, is so I've got my daughter running around. She's a year and a half old. So I've got a cabinet where all my game systems are in, have a sliding plexiglass door in front of them so she can't get to my controllers and unplug stuff or whatever, or break my 360 because if she touches it, it's going to die.
Sam and I will tell you, 360's more durable than you think, and we'll leave it at that.
I heard
it hold up very well.
But anyway, so I have the thing closed, so I can't just leave it on when I like leave, for vacation or whatever. So because it would overheat in there. So I mean, I imagine a lot of people have the same sort of thing where their stuff's behind cabinets and they don't want to just like leave it open because their animals or children or whatever will eat it. So
that's a fairly big electricity draw too.
Yeah,
PS3
just having your
not
PS3
a
on.
low power
so
system.
if it's on for a week,
like
so
a
you can play a
computer.
game for 5 hours while you're gone.
Yeah,
that's not so
My thing,
you know what? If the Wake on Land thing actually worked, then it'd be different. But I don't know about you guys, but once they launched that thing, and I was like, this is freaking awesome. I can have it basically asleep, and it'll wake up whenever I want to ping it. It just wakes up randomly anyway. Like it always had that problem where it would just get random packets sent to it, I guess, and it would turn on. Then it wouldn't do anything for half an hour, and it'd go back to sleep. And then it'd wake up again. It just was this constant loop, and I was like, screw it. So.
there's not enough Wi-Fi for me to use remote play. There's no Wi-Fi on the train. I can't be PSP remote playing from there.
Aren't they adding something like that to Caltrain?
They-
I heard they're like
Oh, yeah.
part of the corridor is going to actually have Wi-Fi.
I'll believe when I see it.
That's true.
Third startup
Planes
noise.
are getting it.
It's
Planes
from the
are
yawn. I've confirmed
Yeah,
it.
planes.
There you go.
You have to pay for it though, but I want to pay for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Most planes.
Continuing on, PunkFan12 says he's wondering if we've heard anything about a few of these games, the Dirty Harry game, LA Noire, or I Am Alive. He says it looks like they all have release dates, but nobody has any updates. Recently, he doesn't know if they're canceled, if there's gonna be any new info on them soon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I Am Alive is the disaster one, right?
Yeah.
That looks cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does look good.
I can tell you,
Ubisoft.
as of give or take, when I was talking to Rockstar for Midnight Club when it came out last October, or whatever that was, LA Noire is 100% still in production. I don't know when we're going to hear about it, but that's not canceled, at least of then.
Team Bondi going strong.
Yeah, so that one's still going. Dirty Harry.
Bondi Beach. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see about those ones. I am excited about I Am Alive though. Inane Asylum comes in and he says,
Ryan is dying.
what do you think about Activision claiming that they're going to stop supporting the PS3? To him, it almost seems like a Me Too response to Valve or some type of empty threat to try and get Sony to drop the price of the PS3. I don't think anybody would just copy Valve because they don't want to support it. Valve puts out like one game a year at best, and whatever. Valve,
it's awesome.
Valve's a great developer, but they're one developer, so That,
I think the
that doesn't make
Activision
a lot
thing
of
was
sense.
just an empty threat.
It
I
was,
think so,
it
too.
wasn't even. It was just posturing. All it was him saying, "All right, well, everyone knows that there's going to be a price drop coming in the next few months. That's just obvious, just because of the trends that they have, their projections
Yeah.
for shipments. They want to ship another 10 million, or 3 million more units this year than they did last year, and their sales are not as good this year as last year. So there's obviously something that's going to happen for them that's going to help them do stuff. Slimline, price drop, whatever. So knowing that, he's just going, well, they better drop the price. So when they do, he can go, well, I guess this good thing that's nuts then.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is
I called it.
if I remember,
No, exactly.
If I remember correctly, his thing was saying that if they need to drop it by like 2011 or 2012.
No.
10 to 11.
That's what they were
10 to
saying.
11,
They
okay.
would pull out by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they
didn't.
if there was a major change, then Activision will be done in like a year or two.
Yeah, in like 2
Which
years.
is like,
Come on. All right, whatever. That's the stupidest threat I've heard in a while. Lord Czar 3.
wow.
I like reading his name like a pirate.
Lord Czar
3.
Lord Czar.
Says he finds himself wishing that PS3 trophies that required you to kill X number of enemies using a certain move or whatever had a counter each time that you successfully did it.
Agreed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother to read the end. We completely agree with that. If you're playing something where it's like kill 1,000 dudes and you have no idea how many you've killed, you don't know whether you're close and you can keep going or whether you need to play the game 17 more times to do it.
That's
100%.
one of the best things about Wolverine is that all those trophies were then tied into the main menu that showed you how close you were to everything.
Yeah,
I gotta admit,
until
like-
you restart a new game.
Yeah,
Go to 0.
Yeah, if you restart.
Gears does that too, right? Where they actually give you a little bit of progress in what you're doing.
Yeah, that's
Which is, I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I wish there was more in-depth stat tracking.
Does the tech even exist in the Sony firmware to enable like a counter in the cross-media bar?
I don't believe
Sony
so.
would need to add that
Yeah,
in.
they
It would
gotta
have to
upgrade.
change the thing there. I don't think
Yeah.
that's happening. But, I mean, viewing it in-game is totally fine, though, because, that's all you need. Midfat1 says, will games like Devil May Cry 4 ever have trophies?
Yes. Oh wait, no.
There's your answer. It's possible, but unlikely at this point.
It
If a
doesn't
game-
seem like Japanese developers are too keen on adding trophies.
And if a game doesn't have trophies by now, it probably never will.
Yeah.
Lots of games should go back and put them in there. Though.
Yeah,
If they
Metal Gear
wanted to
Solid
sell
4.
Oh my God, yes.
First Resistance.
I was so bummed out. That whole week of announcements, that would have been a perfect one. Oh yeah, we're re-releasing all this stuff. It's great. Blah blah blah. Also, here's some trophies, and a
Yeah.
ton of people would buy the game and replay through.
Especially, when they were like, all the greatest hits.
Exactly.
Fortune and Glory writes in, what's up?
No, never
What
mind.
happened?
It's just a funny anecdote.
Ryan's going crazy. Fortune and
Yes,
Glory says,
was a
what
funny
happened to the
anecdote.
SSX series? The original was an amazing launch title for the PS2, and I would
Yes,
love
it
to have
was.
played an updated version HD on the PS3. Is there any chance that the series will be brought back from the dead?
Well, yeah, kind of killed it off. They didn't feel like it was worth investing in after Blur. Didn't do too well on the Wii.
Yeah.
They had some tech going up in Vancouver, but just I guess didn't feel it was worth the effort to do it all.
Remember that EA
Vancouver.
X number of months ago or whatever it was did the whole thing. It was kind of public where they came out and said we went straight down the lineup of all their games, basically ordered them all and said these games are doing very well for us, and anything else was cut.
Yep.
So that
The real question is, where is a new Smuggler's Run? That is what I want on the PS3. Roper, back me up. You love racing. You love the outdoors. You love smuggling.
I want
love
Road
running.
Rash.
No, I agree.
Yes.
No, I'd rather have Road
Road
Rash.
Rash,
But
go.
until then, I want Smuggler's Run.
Darklock21 says,
PS3.
where's this generation's co-op action RPGs? On the PS2, they had Champions of Norath, Baldur's Gate, etc., etc. The only two that he's recalling, unless he's missing something for the PS3, are Untold Legends and Sacred 2, neither of which are
Not
still
as
worth
good as
playing
Champions
to
of
this
North,
day.
that's for
No.
sure.
Sacred
That's
2.
that's a good question. Actually,
It is a very good question.
I can't think of anything that's coming
Uncharted
out.
2 has co-op.
Yes, it does, but it's not.
it's not
really
it's
the
not
same
the
thing.
thing, though.
aware, everybody. What's White Knight Chronicles has multiplayer?
It is going to be MMO component based,
Yes.
but I do not know.
But it's not
if
like
that's
you're on the same
type of
screen
thing.
running around and like tapping. It's not like a Diablo-style game.
No, it's not a
No.
Diablo style game, but you are going to be on the same screen
Yeah.
fighting.
Sacred's
Yeah.
about as close as you can get for that, which sucks.
That is a very good question, though. I would like to play more.
Yeah.
The closest thing you're looking at is, unfortunately, Lego Star Wars. So
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else? That reminds me. I don't know what the hell happened to Snowblind. The guys who actually did the all the Champions games early
Yeah.
on. They worked on DC something or another, and that just kind of went. And then
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called.
Justice League Heroes.
Thank
was
you.
it,
That's it.
right?
That's it. That is exactly it. Yeah. And
I
they're
liked
just-
it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because I'm a DC nerd, and it was all it was just a knockoff of Ultimate Alliance. With
There you go.
very nothing,
Exactly.
but-
Oh yeah, there you go. There's an Ultimate Alliance coming out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. There's
Marvel
something.
Ultimate Alliance
It's
2.
one.
Sam, not you, another Sam
No,
writes
not
in,
me.
says, after watching The Last Guardian trailer a few weeks ago, he felt compelled to finally play Eco, seeing as how he never played it, and Shadow of the Colossus
man.
is one of his favorite games. In his search for the game, the cheapest he could find it for was $50 used.
Excuse me.
And he was curious if we think that before The Last Guardian releases, Sony could put Eco, on the PlayStation Network or Shadow of the Colossus up there for that matter. We would all love to see Eco and Shadow of the Colossus
Yes,
hit the PSN.
absolutely.
That's 100%. As far as finding the game, I went and somebody had written into us or something a couple weeks ago and said that he was seeing the game selling for $200 or $300 online. So I went on eBay and searched, and I found people selling the game for like $20 and $30.
Oh, okay.
So go to eBay.
And Amazon sellers, I'm telling you, like Amazon's designated licensed
Yeah.
sellers
Oh, yeah.
that they will sell through to them for you.
Yeah.
Some
And
of them have used copies for $30, $40.
That
Very
setup is actually
affordable.
pretty good too. Like
Yeah, it's very.
Amazon covers all those transactions, so if you don't get
Yep.
something, they just credit it back for you, and,
Yep.
and then you guys
very
can go through all
simple,
your
very
friends.
safe,
Check,
easy.
So check both eBay and Amazon. You
Because
should
it
be
is
able to find
absolutely worth playing.
Yeah.
Man, I can't. I wish I could be that guy. I wish I could wipe my memory, not remember a single thing about that game, and play through it again for the first time.
It's been so
I-
long since I played it that
I
that
get
would
to
kind
have
of
that
happen for me.
experience. I still have not played it all the way through.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last part of
Let's
his
do it
question
all
is,
in one
says,
sitting.
do we think that The Last Guardian will be released in 2010? Seems very likely.
Yeah. End of the year, I think.
What happened?
I was just going to ask, there have been no PS2 games to come to the PlayStation Network yet, right?
No.
No,
So-
you'd have to have backwards compatibility to do that.
So I'm just saying that
Yeah.
it's probably unlikely, right?
That's what I'm saying. What was that?
Wow,
Sam retarded his
woodpecker.
anger and shook his head real good, and it rattled the windows.
I mean, it's amazing how the force
I
of
heard
that
it.
head
I didn't
shake.
see it, though.
That was that
was
sound
awesome.
you just
That
heard
was
was
awesome.
actually Sam's head shaking.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, I can make my eyes wiggle too, but that doesn't. Like, you can't see that, so.
ARP2222 writes in and he says he's never played a Metal Gear Solid game, but he always wanted to get started in the franchise, especially with the announcement of Peace Walker on the PSP. His question is, should he start the franchise with Twin Snakes on the GameCube or Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation? He finds that being spoiled with today's graphic standards, he could stand to play the PlayStation. I couldn't stand to play the PlayStation version, and another reason I can't get into is that he's never played Final
Too
Fantasy
long.
VII. Whatever.
Did
Anyway.
not read.
Okay. As far as Metal Gear Solid goes, I played the first trilogy or whatever at the beginning of last year to get ready for 4 because I had never played them at that point, and I played the PlayStation one. I have Twin Snakes sitting on my shelf, but I never played it, and I went with the original so that it was the original
Experience, yeah.
Kojima. The original experience was Kojima's vision because I'm hearing that in Twin Snakes things were changed up a little bit,
Yeah,
a
they
little bit
were.
remixed. Yeah.
The
I think
Twin Snakes is so much easier. They put
Yes.
first person in there, and that game was not meant for first person. So like your first battle with Gray Fox or your first like real battle is in Metal Gear Solid. I remember that being like, I'm running around trying to do it, and then in Twin Snakes, it's literally just run to one end of the room, bring up my gun, and shoot him in the head a couple times, and run somewhere else. Dude, I mean,
I think to properly appreciate Twin Snakes, you have to have played through the first one.
Agreed.
To
Yeah,
have some of
agreed.
the stuff in there, because I mean, then they do a bunch of stuff with cutscenes, and it's like
I think it's cool, the
it's-
cutscene stuff.
It is
that
cool.
they
It
did.
is cool, but it's stylistically and even like pacing wise, completely different game.
yeah, agreed.
So I think the original.
I would
is
say,
the
yeah,
best way
play
to
the
play.
original.
At least
Yeah.
once.
Drew writes in, he says he's a random question. When a developer decides to make a game for, say, the PS3 or PSP, or I guess any platform really, do they have to tell Sony that they want to make a game for the system, or are they free to make it and then tell them at their leisure? So let me tell you this part. Knowing from some of the panels that I've been to at GDC, if you want to make a game for the PSN, what you can do is you can, dig up Sony's whatever, and then, their contact info for the developer stuff. Write to them, and you send them basically your design document. You can send them as much of those as you want. So if you have an animation, that's cool. But all you need to send is a design document. They look at it. They say, okay, it seems like you have a good idea. We will now sell you the development kit. And if you're going through those means, it's like under $2,000 or something like that. Then you buy it, and you get all the libraries and all that kind of stuff, and then
You become an authorized.
you become an authorized developer, and then you can go in and they'll help you, and you send checkups and stuff like that, and you send it to them, and they'll give you feedback and all that kind of stuff. So that's when you're doing that. I would imagine that if you're developing a full-scale PS3 game, and I think this is the same thing for everybody, you have to apply and say, here's why I want to be accepted into this thing, and then they'll send it to you, and then you do whatever you want.
Yep.
You have to send them the final game for them to approve it to be on the system. But, like if you're Activision, you've got a trillion licenses or whatever, and you can just do whatever you want. Don't ever have to tell Sony about it until the game's done, and then you go show it to them and say, "Can we put this on your system?" And they go, "Okay." So
there's a reason why you don't see a lot of self-published or any self-published PS3 games, and that's just because you kind of have to go through a publisher.
Yeah. You basically
you can make games for it, but if you want to have the games actually released, then I think you have to go through another publisher.
Yeah, and theoretically you can self-publish a PSN game.
Yeah.
Sony's saying that that's 100% you can do that.
Well, Comic Crash is a really good example. The guy who did that, he actually worked at Sony, but took a break off, and in his time off, he just wanted to do something. So he and his wife and another guy, just 3 people, made the entire game, submitted it to Sony, and he had to go through the exact same approvals process. He had to tweak things, he had to do all that stuff, but he totally self-published his own game.
Yeah.
Made by 3 people. So
there you go.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't realize that was a 3-person game.
Yep.
Does anybody have anything else to add to the Reader Mail? I'm going to get to Hit of the Week.
Mail call.
Nobody?
Oh, no.
Okay. Hit of
Good
the Week.
one.
So, past few weeks since E3, we've been saying that we had worked with Mason. He was on the video team. We worked with them. We mentioned before he was an intern, but he was not an intern. He's a production freelancer that we hired to work with us then. The video team is all kinds of crazy. They have 17 trillion titles over there. I don't know what the hell Fran does anymore. He's like this overlord that sits in the corner of his desk, but he's never there. He's always on a plane from here to LA and back. So whatever his minions are doing, I have never any idea, and they don't know what they're doing either. No. Wait, sorry. Let me say that they know what they're doing, but from each other. Unless you're Caleb, one guy does not know what the other guy's doing. Anyway, so Mason is a production freelancer. Anyway, we said that we were going to make him Hit of the Week while we were at E3.
Yes.
But then couldn't find his name.
Phone got erased.
Yeah. Phone got erased, all this kind of stuff. Greg dropped water on his phone.
Yep. Cat knocked it over.
Yeah. So, but now he has written in. He was busy, finally wrote in. So now here we have Mason's PSN ID. It is Weezta. Weezta. Mason is Hit of the Week.
PSN it confirmed.
So there you go.
Sorry for the static.
Should we throw another one in there?
What's that?
I have somebody else that I could probably add to that.
You want to do it?
Yeah, sure.
Let's have a second one.
His name's Kyle. And
Uh-huh.
he used to be an old staffer of mine, but he really wanted to be Hit of the Week, so it's Insomniac 2587.
Does he now work for Insomniac?
He does not. He's just he loves those guys.
There you go.
What's that? He never sleeps. No.
Second PSN hit confirmed who does not work for Insomniac.
There you go. All right, that brings us to the main part of that thing. Ryan, I saw
part of that thing.
whatever it is we're doing here.
Yeah.
Ryan, when I was printing out the questions, you were also printing out a sheet. I had to take it out of I had to go through my papers to find the printout that you made to hand it to you.
It was such a big deal.
Such a major deal. It took a couple seconds of my day.
Yep.
What was this paper that you had printed?
It was a little housekeeping from Beast because I missed last week's. I didn't see. I went. God, there's so many beastings going on.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I checked my messages before we started the podcast, and I didn't see anything from Beast from today. However, I did miss one from last week that I wanted to make sure it got announced.
So we're traveling back in time.
Yep, traveling back in time. It was a game of Killzone 2, and the MVP of that game was Here's Ghost Eyes. So Ayers, is this is he trying to go for some like European style like mine?
Mind melding.
Anyway,
At its hires.
congrats to this awesome. It's basically HEIRZ Ghost Eyes. Eyes is spelled with a Z at the end instead of an S. Congrats to you, sir or madam. You are a Killzone 2 superstar.
Or cat.
Or cat. It could be a cat.
That pretty much brings us near the end. Last week, I had mentioned as a quick update to this thing for anybody that's interested, and it wasn't following me on Twitter and didn't see my updates in the picture about this thing. So last week I mentioned that this past Sunday was my wife's birthday, and so I was going to make her cake, and she wanted brownies and cake. So basically, I was going to create cake mix and brownie mix and put them together and bake one cake. It did not work. It was a giant failure. It kind of almost worked, but not really. It didn't cook evenly. I had the correct amount of stuff. I made it well. Everything was done correctly, but it did not work. It didn't cook evenly. The brownies, I think when you make the two mixes, there's less brownie mix because you put way more water and eggs and stuff in the cake mix. So there's way less of it, and I think I don't know. There was too much in there for the brownies to cook in a period of time. Anyway, it didn't work. It was a giant failure. People writing in saying that what I should do is make the cake separately and the brownies separately and put them on top of each other. I had thought of that beforehand, but I wanted to do the mix, the marble thing. But anyway, it didn't work. Don't try it.
Update, don't ever try it.
Yeah, so there you go. There's that one. That pretty much brings us to the end. A little housekeeping. Of course, if you haven't rated us on iTunes, go on there and do that.
Get it together.
You can follow us on Twitter, on IGN.com.
Tweets.
Tweet of the week. You can. I'm also on Twitter if you want to follow me. It's Chris_Roper. You can see pictures of cakes that don't work. That's pretty much what I do on there, and I also send pictures of the shows that's going on.
Shouldn't
The
it be
same
a
ones every
cakey?
single week. What?
A cakey that don't work.
I guess.
Cakey.
Ooh.
Brown ache.
We're also all on Facebook, and I did this. So I went on there, and if you search for me on Facebook, there's a trillion Chris Ropers on there. So if you search, it's almost impossible to find me. So I did the username thing where you can put your little thing. So now if you go to facebook.com/Christopher Lee Roper, all one thing, then you find my thing. Because somebody had taken Chris Roper, somebody had taken Chris.Roper, somebody had taken C Roper, C.Rope. All that crap was already gone by some random dudes. One dude had claimed a bunch of them. It was all pointing to the same guy, which I didn't think you could do.
No, neither did I.
That's not possible.
Yeah, he has at least two. No, because I don't know, but he does 100%.
Jerkface.
Same dude.
I'm at facebook.com/GameOverGreggy.
There you go.
Oh, aren't you?
Yeah, I tried Clements, and as soon as that didn't work, I was like, F it, I'm just making something up, because if I'm not just Clements, I don't want to be anything else.
What'd you end up being?
My PSN/360 name,
Okay.
There you go.
which I'm not going to give here.
Really?
Yeah, unless I'm hit of the week.
You already
Do you wanna be
invited
hit of the week?
everyone
You
to
hit
be
of the
your
week every
Facebook
week.
friend, though, right? So, I mean, can't they all see it there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's seven.
fail.
It's 7 winters all spelled out.
epic
So,
fail
yeah.
by Ryan Clements.
It's all right. I haven't
AKA
actually-
7 Winters.
I haven't actually gotten many PSN friend requests because I don't accept them unless I recognize them from somewhere.
Beyond.
Yeah, I do accept all Facebook requests, though.
There you go.
So elitist.
That's pretty much the end. Who's got a song?
Sam.
I do not have a song, I guarantee you that much.
I have an idea for a song.
What's that?
This was spoken earlier on in the show that I thought would make a great song.
We could,
I don't know how to make I make that into
You could
a
do
Did
song.
we
we
say
could-
the secret part?
we could do metal more
Does
metal
that say
poetry.
song or does that say
Ryan.
it does
It's a
say
secret.
Metal
Yeah.
poetry.
Oh, yeah, metal
yes.
poetry.
You want to do
That's
metal poetry?
Yes.
I don't know if I have anything else memorized.
Okay.
I
Well,
have,
maybe we'll do that. We'll do that again in the future. Then you can print something out and read
I
it.
could do,
should. That would be awesome.
Metal Shakespeare.
Ooh.
Do you have some Shakespeare memories?
Could do Hamlet.
Oh, look at
Scene
you.
3, Act.
His famous soliloquy.
No, it's when he's addressing his plan.
Do it.
Oh
Hit it.
my god, I don't even think I. All right.
You got
wanna
it,
try it?
Sam.
I
Hold
can't,
on.
dude. I
Preparing
haven't
the
done this.
battle.
Since,
Oh, look, he's already getting
I gotta
ready. He
And,
regret this decision
I
immediately.
totally do. I already do.
Just as a side note, my idea for the song was Secret Robot Ghost.
See, I don't remember it.
Secret
When was
Robo
it?
Ghost.
Oh, because the trophy was secret.
Yeah. The trophy
Alright.
was secret, and it was whether
I knew the
he
robot
becomes
ghost part.
a
Yeah,
robot
yeah, yeah.
ghost.
All right, you about ready?
Yeah, let's
Here we
do
go.
this. Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I would as leave the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hands thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, the whirlwind of passion, one must acquire and beget the temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear such a periwig-pated fellow tear a passage to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who for the most part are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for doing termagant without Herod's Herod. Pray you, avoid it.